easy enough.
Let's stay and spell your first last name. Give us your title.
Daniel Slaughter, S-L-A-U-G-H-T-E-R, Chief of Police, City of Clearwater. So yesterday afternoon about 6:30 p.m., the Clearwater Police Department was flagged down by a citizen who informed us a shooting had just occurred within the Sam's Club Dunkin' Donuts area at Bypass and Gulf to Bay. Officers were able to immediately identify the potential person that was involved, which ended up being a subject with the last name of Khalil Shahid. They were able to safely get him into custody. He followed commands, was armed with a firearm when they arrested him. They located one victim who had 2 gunshot wounds, one to his upper right thigh and one to his left knee, in the parking lot of the Dunkin' Donuts. The officers immediately rendered medical aid to that particular victim until the fire department came and took over the medical treatment. He is currently in serious condition but is expected to survive. The synopsis of what we know to date, and we're still trying to put together all the facts and circumstances, but there was some form of a confrontation inside of the Dunkin' Donuts. The victim in the shooting was a customer who was with his female companion and 2 children. The suspect was the clerk working at the Dunkin' Donuts. As the order was attempting to be made for ice cream, somehow a dispute and confrontation ensued. The 2 parties did eventually separate after the verbal confrontation. As the victim and the family were out in the parking lot, the suspect then exited the Dunkin' Donuts to reconfront the victim again. That escalation ensued to the point where that suspect removed a firearm and fired at least 3 times, striking the victim twice. We're still trying to ascertain what this confrontation and the feud and whatever the conflict was that resulted in this incident, but so far at this point in time, we don't know of any relationship between the 2. As far as we know, they're strangers. And at this point, still trying to figure out what particularly transpired there. The suspect does not have a significant criminal history with the Clearwater Police Department, but we're still tracking and going through all those motions to identify the complete background. The firearm, we are trying to track the firearm, but at this point, we don't see that it's a stolen or illegal firearm at this point, and the victim or the suspect was 22 years old and not a convicted felon, so he may have purchased it legally. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
You just answered all of them now. What is your reaction to this happening? I mean, this just seems wild that it was a store employee.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no logic that I can apply to understand how this unfolded. We believe at this point that we're going to move on the presumption that there must be some other information that we're still trying to figure out. Once we're able to speak more with the victim after his medical treatment, hopefully we'll be able to get more details on what led to the argument in the first place.
Did this shooting happen in front of these kids?
Yes.
They weren't injured or any shrapnel or anything like that?
They weren't. When I arrived on scene and they were treating the victim on the ground, the kids were maybe 6 parking spaces away with the female companion watching it unfold.
Were there other workers in the building, in the store, or any other customers or anything, witnesses?
Yeah, there were witnesses, of course, store employees and other patrons that were in the area. And the staff at Dunkin' Donuts, they tried to separate the clerk from the victim inside and tried to discourage him from further confrontation, but he still went outside and reconfirmed him.
Have they been cooperating as far as possibly giving you a motive to what started this fight?
Yes, they've shared with us details, but at first glance right now, still at the point we're at today, is we really don't understand why.
Are there any signs that the employee actually, when he left the building, retrieved the gun, or is it believed that he had the gun on him the whole time, even in the store?
That I can't answer. I don't know if he had it on the entire time when he was in the store. I just know he had it when he came out of the store and confronted the victim.
I have a question regarding the charge of carrying concealed firearm. Obviously, today is the start of the legislative session, a big topic they're talking about is constitutional carry. If that does pass, is that something that this charge possibly wouldn't have been charged with this suspect?
In this particular case, yeah, I mean, that's a potential that he would not have any of the disqualifiers. I mean, the only difference between the proposed legislation and the current state of the law is that a person would have to file for a permit and pay a fee and do an online course. So I don't, this is an unlawful act potentially with the firearm, so I choose to focus on that.
The suspect posted bond $1,500 and is already bonding out right now. Is that surprising to you? Is that concerning?
$1,500 seems like a relatively low bond for this particular incident, but that's not something we dictate.
And any indication, you mentioned not much of a criminal history, but any indication of any type of violence either at work or that background?
Maybe. Can't necessarily say right now. I'd have to look. We're still getting putting those things together.
In the media alert, it said no threat to the community. The fact that he has bonded out now, is that still consistent, no threat to the community? Or what would you say to people? You know, these people just went to a Dunkin' Donuts to get ice cream. We don't know if the fight was over yet, but.
Yeah, millions and millions and millions of people have, retail transactions all day safely, so I don't think the community's in any further danger, and certainly the fact that we don't have significant history with this suspect leads me to believe this is more a product of an argument that got out of control than the fact that we have someone that is at large that's in danger. So I think everyone's safe.
As far as any body cam or surveillance video, would you guys be willing to share that with us as well?
I believe we are trying to put some together that we can share. It's still, as far as surveillance video, no, but I think we have some body-worn camera we're trying to put together for you.
And 911 calls?
I think they're trying to put that together, yes.
And at that time of day, I mean, that's kind of a busy area. Gulf Bay's busy, Sam's Club's busy, all that area. For this to happen, are we maybe lucky that no one else got hit? Because I know when I traveled that intersection at that time, I mean, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah, we were fortunate that not only no one else got hurt, but that we had officers that were immediately in the area, that were immediately flagged down, that were able to get the person in custody and not have any further incidents of concern. But it was definitely a peak period of the day, and that is always concerning. I think I cut you off on one. Did you have one more?
No,
Okay.
it was fast.
All right. All right.
Yeah, we just have a quick second.
Thank you, everybody.